So today we're working on designing our own stamp to actually stamp our pottery with. And I just do not like the feel of drawing digitally. So I'm drawing on paper. And what I'm going to do is take a picture of my drawing, convert it to an STL, and import it to Tinkercad, where I can actually finish making it into a stamp sort of thing and then 3D print it. Larissa is working on actually designing on Canva here just the outer ring that's going to go around the image that I'm drawing here. There's probably a simpler way to do this, but this is, to me, the easiest way that I could think of to just kind of get it done quickly. So we'll just import 2 separate STLs. I'll show you how we kind of end up doing that, and then we should be able to overlay them on each other in Tinkercad. Canva is really nice for doing stuff like this. But then pen and paper is definitely the best all around. So I'm just getting a couple different options to see what I like. So I found a file converter. I really haven't used this much, but it seems to work. And hopefully I'm not downloading any viruses. And this is the file I actually want to convert. I'm going to put it there. So now it says it's ready. So we're converting this JPEG to an SVG file. There's a lot of different file formats you can convert to. There it is, SVG. Click on convert. It's uploading the file and converting it. There it says that it's done, so we're going to click download on the not scam button, I think. And here's our new file. Okay, so now we've got the tree image imported into Tinkercad here, and we've got the ring image, so we just have to overlay them and get them to a size that we actually want to 3D print. So obviously this is going to have to be reversed so that when we stamp, the text is not backwards. So I'm going to flip it 180 degrees and then put a little backing on it. So I exported this as an STL and I moved it into my folder with everything else here. And now we're just opening that with Ultimaker Cura, which is our slicer program. So here it is, imported. And we'll go through these settings here. We're going to just do 100% infill. Yeah, these settings look fine. So we'll just slice that and we'll save it to the SD card. Now we can go stick this into the 3D printer and get printing. We're going to print in blue because that's what's on the printer right now. We'll click print. I'm going to set the speed down so that it adheres properly to the bed. I typically turn the speed down for the start. Somebody should write a program for it so that it plays Osei Can You See? Because it almost sounds like it is. Ah, see that? No. See how that didn't adhere properly? Very annoying. Alright, now we're printing full speed, and it did actually come out of that little problem it had, so. Alright. What? I am not sure what went wrong. Clearly, something did not translate. So we made it larger, like 2 inches by 2 inches roughly. But I think the problem is that our inner lines are just way too small. Like, they looked good as a file, but it does not appear to be translating to the 3D print very well. We're going to let it finish and see what it looks like, but it would appear that they're only putting a few dots in the center design because it just didn't interpret properly. So what I need to do is remake those files so that the lines are thicker, because that was a single pen pass, but it needs to be more like thick Sharpie when I draw my design.
Because it gets so much smaller.
Yeah, because we're shrinking it down, and when we run a toolpath for the printer, it just doesn't translate properly. So I decided I needed to draw with a thick marker, so I did several attempts, and I'm not exactly sure which one I like the best. I think I'm going to go with this one, because once that's shrunk down, I think that will look pretty nice. Okay, so I think I got it. This is circles 1 inch by 1 inch, and yeah, I think I got it so that this will actually print more properly. Hopefully these letters are big enough. I almost think they might still be a little small, like right here. So that font was a little bit too small, so I did end up going and getting we got a different font, and that's what's printing right now. Also, we're printing it larger, 1.5 by 1.5 inches, so hopefully that will work good. There's the final print finished. A little bit of stringing there. Just get rid of that with a hot pin. So here I have just some, like, I think it's apple wood, but I want to use it to make the handle for the stamp. I actually already made one handle for the stamp, but I wanted to show you the process again, and I want to have a spare one because the 3D printed ends do tend to get damaged or break. That'll be a nice, pretty piece of wood. So this tool right here, you can use to check the size of your part. So I want to get this turned down to that size. So I still have more that I need to cut the overall size down to. Check that size again. Getting close, just a little more. So that's the right size, so I don't want to go any more than that. I'm going to use the parting tool to square off this end a little bit. This is the parting tool. It just has like a sharpened end, and you can work your way in from the outside. That's all I'll do for now, though, because I don't want the part to come loose yet. Now we'll finish cutting the desired shape. This stamp's going to be a little bit shorter than that first one I made. I think I'm liking the look of that. And I've found that old belt sandpaper works really well on the lathe for sanding. So I'm pretty happy with how polished this is. Unfortunately, I actually knocked a chip of wood off right here. It was fine until that, but this is just the backup stamp, so I think it'll be fine. I'm going to go ahead and use the parting tool now and cut this off. Let's put a couple of decorative grooves in here. Just for fun. Doesn't that kind of look fun? I just got to take the belt sander, knock off that nub there and that nub there. So there it is with the ends sanded. Kind of cool, you can see it's got some spalting in it. It's always kind of neat. But we're just going to take some hot glue. And once I put the medallion on, I'll have to immediately go and stick it under the sink because since it's 3D printed, it's very heat susceptible. So I'm just going to stick this on here, get it where I like it, and then go rinse it off. So I have found that I have to poke little holes between the spaces in there, otherwise it seals off the air and it doesn't impression as well onto the clay. I've also found it kind of works good to dip this in water before you stamp. We're just going to do it anyway. And here's one last look at how that handle turned out. I got it oiled now. So, turned out pretty good. The glue is kind of ugly, but I'm kind of expecting this to be a replaceable part. Because if you drop it, the letters and stuff are kind of brittle and they could crack and fall out of the piece. But we're going to go ahead and stamp. And there you can see Plum Creek Pottery. Stamps, I think it stamps really well. Pretty happy with it. It took quite a few attempts to get it to this point where it's stamping pretty neatly, but let's try it again. Wow, little piece of plastic. But yeah, I'm quite happy with how it looks. The bottom of this cup is pretty thin. We're going to test out the stamp. Hopefully it will be fine. It's kind of stuck. I don't like the way that feels. Oh,
Not bad.
it's okay. I maybe just pressed it a little too deep. But it did stamp pretty nicely. So there's the pair. Short one and a tall one. Quite happy with how they turned out. I think they look really nice.